Hello boys, girls, Vigilante, and Chris did a video on this. I want to go in depth onto what could have happened if Izuku became a hero, like the reasons. Or villain and vigilante, but still being quirkless. Okay, let's begin with the hero first. Okay, there are two possible ways for this of happening. Option A, Izuku declines All Might's offer, or option B, All Might doesn't consider Izuku as an option. Mainly due to his recklessness and, well, negligence for his own well-being. Anyways, let's begin with the first one. Izuku felt something in his head, saying the wanting to prove that he could actually become a hero without a quirk, to be a beacon of hope for those who were constantly bullied for being powerless, or whether or not they had good quirks or not. He wanted to be a beacon for them, similar to All Might was for him, but he wanted to be more direct. Or option B, All Might just didn't consider Izuku to be qualified to be a hero or the successor for All for One, and doesn't, talk to him. In option B, Izuku would probably push himself to his absolute limit without All Might's plan, and still having that urge to become a hero, he probably most likely would join UA, be it through most likely trying to save people or maybe a few villain points. Still, option A and B are somewhat similar in that sense. I also feel like he would have, gadgets and stuff, like Batman, just to help him. Or like the Joker. Or any powerless superhero in the existence thing. Moving on to the villain aspect. A simple change that would most likely push Izuku over the edge would be All Might saying that whether or not you had a quirk or not, you could still become a hero. Now, this could lead to Izuku still declining All for One, or All Might still, not considering Izuku. But let's just go with option A as the most prevalent one. So Izuku turning down All for One would be out of sheer anger because of what All Might said after saving him, and All Might somewhat defending him at the same time, which would actually make Izuku somewhat more mad and happy at the same time. It's confusing. Now, I feel like here is where Izuku's analytical side would take command. He would most likely try and go for a few heroes who didn't have the best quirks. And similar to the Joker, he would most likely use something akin to nerve gas to stun them, or dull their senses in order for him to get the upper hand. In this sense, I feel like Izuku would be an analytical villain who isn't necessarily super strong, but more smart. And thus, he'd use whatever he could to help him. There's also secret option C, where he becomes a part of the League of Villains and joins UA, mainly because he still wants to be a villain because he was pushed over the edge way too much, or he's not working with the League of Villains, and he's just using the hero thing as a cover-up. That's also secret option C, subsection B. Yep, definitely. Now time for the vigilante version. Okay, I feel like, option A or B from the hero one would still happen, but Izuku couldn't pass, either due to lack of training, lack of experience, or just, overall, him being quirkless. That would most likely have a factor in his, not getting into UA, not just because of the powerless part. But anyways, I feel like being distraught, Izuku would just go onto the computer and search up quirkless heroes, seeing maybe one or two, and then he would most likely stumble upon a few vigilantes who didn't use quirks, who didn't use their powers. If not, then option B for this scenario would happen, which Izuku would just be so distraught that he'd, go wandering around at night and probably help a few people with them thanking him, whether he'd get injured or not, and him most likely getting in trouble with his mother. Either way, I feel like he would most likely have something similar to his Season 1 hero outfit. The very beginning one, where the one that his mother got him. Only this time it'd be a bit more scuffed, because he had to save money and stuff. So, in this scenario, I feel like Izuku would not necessarily be a super great vigilante, but still pretty good at the same time due to his analytical side, and him having to rely on his intelligence and studying part of his brains. I'm saying that he would analyze the person that he's going up against, whether or not it'd be a hero or a villain, and still, despite everything, he would try his best to come out on top, and if he couldn't, he'd leave it to the heroes. What I'm trying to say is that in each one of these scenarios, he has limits, like everyone does, whether it be All Might, friggin' Superman, or, I don't know, any random person on the street. Everyone has their limits. Izuku can most likely overcome them, but at the same time, he might not. It's very likely that in each one of these scenarios, he could get killed. He probably would if he went against them recklessly like he did in canon, but I feel like he'd be a little bit safer due to the fact that he had no quirk. Well, that's where I'm gonna leave it off. If Jagras allows me to, says yes to allowing me to make something like akin to his video, then you'll probably see this. If not, then you won't. What am I saying? If he says yes, then you're gonna know anyways. Anyways, bye.